Dr. Jason W. Morrison, theologist, New South Wales, Australia, on the ProBrick exclusive YouTube channel and Pro One Theologist channel. There's a picture of me and my wife when we were married. A picture taken by Ken Duncan, the famous Australian photographer. Well, today I'm going to talk about what can happen to your marriage and the reasons why. Not many people know about limerance. Sorry about the background noise. About limerance. Limerance is relative to the chemicals that are released at the first stages of a relationship when you first meet somebody and it looks positive. It's not based on lust, it's not based on guessing and all that other doubtful stuff. Limerance is based on the connection with a new person and the possibilities of that connection turning out to be fruitful. That's how limerance works. Not many people know that limerance can work from 3 months to 12 months. And then you'll go into a settling period where the relationship levels out. And that's the part where a lot of people struggle. I think my last relationship, along with all its other silly complications, we were just starting to level out and settle in, and the thing went to crap and I walked away. But limerance has a way of, it's like a nutrient for plants. You feed the nutrient on the plants and things work. The nutrient builds the plant quick. Nutrients holds the relationship together in the early stages, and it can cause deception. It can make a person be less critical in their judgments. It can make you a little bit more blinded to red flags at the early stages of a relationship. A bit cold, isn't it? It can blur your vision as to what really is going on in the early stages. And sorry about the background noises, it's just I'm on the move. And but it can also bond you together. And the problem is it can possibly bond you together with somebody that's really not for the long term. Now, is that a wrong thing or a bad thing? No, sometimes relationships are going to be long term, sometimes they're going to be short term. But I guess as long as you do your best within that relationship to nurture it and maintain it for however long it lasts, that's the main thing. Now, not everybody deals with things the same way. Everybody's different. And that in itself can cause conflict. Different people respond to limerance in different ways. As a matter of fact, there's limerance addicts. If the limerance runs out, the person interprets that, if they're not aware of it, that's the relationship run out, because they run on their feelings, and if the feelings aren't there, these dopamine fueled feelings, then the relationship mustn't have any more use for that person. It's like an addict. Without the dopamine, it can't be legit. And to be honest with you, these kinds of people are quite a waste of time, because some of them never come out of it. That's why you'll find these same people tend to be drug addicts. They enjoy alcohol, medications and all these types of things, because they're looking for that dopamine hit. But the dopamine receptors have got a way of wearing thin and requiring more of what it is this person's using to trigger them. And it just becomes a cycle where the dopamine just cannot keep up with the desires of these people to have it. And that's where knowing yourself comes in. That's where a lot of people who are addicts need to be educated. They need to understand that dopamine is limited. Trying to push drugs into yourself to keep it going isn't going to help anyone. And there's a better way of life. See, dopamine is a rewarding chemical. It rewards you. If something good happens, the dopamine goes off and it gives you a sense of reward, pleasure, etc. There's natural ways that people have to come back to, chemically and alcoholic, abusive people, nicotine, all the rest of it, have to come back to make the dopamine reward system of the human work the way it should. And it does work. I've read in some studies relative to cannabis that there is a cannabinoid part of our makeup that gets released. I don't know the full details of it, so maybe you can comment. But apparently there is a cannabinoid or something, natural one inside us that gets released. So that's probably why there's a tendency for people to want to receive more of that through the chemicals and other stuff. But all that said, limerance is the dopamine release that you receive when you first enter into a relationship. And of course, dopamine does wear off relative to what triggers it, and some people measure that as being relative to how they feel in the relationship. But that's not how you measure your feelings, and this is what I'm trying to get to. Attraction and connection and all these other things that we want to experience: caring, loving, company, working as a team, understanding, listening, all these things are not relative totally to limerance, but limerance can be dopamine. But dopamine can be a result of correct understanding and intimate understanding and harmony and peace and all that. When we get a sense of these things, it can release dopamine, and that's what keeps us close together. When you realize there's certain natural characteristical things that we can do within our relationship to be rewarded, internally rewarded, satisfactorily rewarded, with results of contentment and gratefulness and a willingness to continue to be kind, long-suffering and patient, then you're coming back to the natural ways in which God has made us. In Hebrews 11:6, it says that He is a rewarder of those who diligently seek Him. That's what it says, that He is a rewarder of those who diligently seek him. Now, to diligently seek him, is by faith, by knowing that what Jesus did on the cross resolved all our issues between ourselves and God for time and in eternity. Never have to worry about it again. Just build a relationship with him on whatever level, through prayer and devotion and all that other stuff, and just get on with your life. And he rewards you for that with the promise of his Spirit, the guidance of his Spirit, the help of his Holy Spirit. Again, supernatural reward systems, universal reward system that God's put in place for humans to indulge. That's just how it works. That's how he's made it. You do not really need all these other drugs and medications and things. If you are brave enough and desperate enough, you'll tap into the way God made it and feel and sense, work with and alongside, and let him indwell you by his Spirit, his Holy Spirit. And these are the ancient people tried to communicate this through the writings of the scriptures, and today ministers and people try and share this, but as usual it's corrupted or undermined by people that just don't want to make the effort or just can't get it. When you think of the fruits of the Spirit from Galatians chapter 5, 22 through 23, the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long-suffering, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Against such things there is no law. Then, I guess in a way, you can measure the people that you're getting mixed up with. There's a toxic element to the fruit of the Spirit. There's toxic love, joy, peace, long-suffering, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. And these are deceptive uses of the golden fruits of the Spirit. The Satan always apes, as it were, or copies, chameleonizes the things that God's given us to work with. And I guess one of the arts is to be transparent enough and honest enough to make sure that you really are, without effort, but by the Spirit, walking in these things. Now, life's got a way of wearing away at us. It just will. It's just what it does. It wears away at us. It wants to, by nature, bend towards taking. But you really can, if you're humble enough and alert enough to stay mobile, not to fall into passivity, not to become lazy, not to depend on things outside that which God has enabled you to be rewarded with by the things that you do and not do. Once you tap into the natural and the divine supernatural system of internal reward, I promise you, that's why Jesus died on the cross partly, you'll be empowered in a way in which you never dreamed, and life will open up for you in a way in which you never imagined. This is Reverend Dr. Jason W. Morrison, theologist, New South Wales, Australia. Bye for now.